My God. My God. It's been a little bit. Thurman is completely caught up. I haven't read a chapter since we stopped reviewing it, but I've heard about the things. I know about Gran Torino, Midnight, Bakugo maybe having a character development moment, and that's really it. So take it away, Thurman.
So all the way. Before I even begin with this, let me first and foremost say that My Hero was my number 2 favorite manga of all time, and Red always laughs about that because he always laughs about it because my whole view about the series now has completely changed. Now let me get into the positives before I get into the negatives, because this video will most likely be mostly negatives. But I don't hate My Hero. I don't think My Hero is essentially bad by any means. And I know I'm a big advocator of no slander, but I'm not trying to slander the series, even though I definitely will for jokes, for the content. But I'm definitely going to give my opinion on it because I definitely think the quality has dipped 100%. So with that being said, with me being nice, it's time to be mean. So, for those of you who think this arc is better than Wano or Shibuya Infinity or Spade Kingdom, I question your sanity.
You capping?
100%. 100% question your sanity because what about this arc was better than Wano? I'm curious, okay? Because because it's funny. It's funny, right? The My Hero fans on Twitter, whatever, mostly on Twitter, because I haven't seen the My Hero fan base in Facebook, but Twitter, right? Twitter, just the shitty cesspool that it is, claim that My Hero is carrying Jump. Hirokoshi's carrying Jump. Is the best arc right now. Not the only thing that's coming close to beating it is Chainsaw Man, right? Yeah. So tell me, exactly, how is it carrying Jump when the writing has been meh? The fights have been meh. The consequences that were hyped up were subpar and or non-existent. Let's see what else. It basically did everything that My Hero fans, get on One Piece and Black Clover for, fake out deaths, shit like that. Because me personally, right, I always say this to Red, I don't think deaths are necessary for series to be good. I will be on that side of, I think a character should have died, or this person should have died, or blah, 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 something like that. But at the same time, I won't drop a series to say a series is bad because there's no death. I think that's dumb. But at the same time, fake out deaths and stuff like that, or people who should have been dying, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I agree that, quality can drop with a character if the author keeps doing that. And, Hirokoshi did that. For now, we'll see if Gran Torino's dead, but given how we got a confirmation of people who've been dead, Gran Torino's not on there.
Yeah, that's weird. That seems strange to me. So Thurman did show me the page, the infamous page that spawned this video. And I will say, just to bring it back here, the reason we decided to drop this series after a while is because I was just not feeling it. And I remember one of the things that really started it was the infamous Crust debacle. You remember Crust, Thurman?
He's dead now.
Yeah. No, he died back then too. Remember he died, and they were like, yeah, Crust, and I was like, who the fuck gives a single shit about Crust? Did you?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know who that man is.
Crust. I get it. He was introduced as one of the top 10 characters, but count. I remember I did a bet. I was like, if this man showed up in more than 10 panels from then to his death, let me know. And unfortunately, he had, but it wasn't a lot.
It's wild. Okay, so back to the panel that Red was talking about. Okay, so what's funny about that panel to me is literally, I told it's so funny, bro. It's so funny. I literally went, as soon as that panel came out, I was like, I tagged her. I was like, Red, please answer me, okay? I'm going to spoil something for you. I'm going to send you this panel, okay? I want you to tell me, do you know at least more than 3 characters in this panel besides the obvious one?
Yeah. Not even. I knew fucking, because I recognized Native, because I think Native was around, he was Native got fucked up by the Hero
Stain.
Killer. Remember, like he was about to get killed by Hero Killer Stain.
Yeah.
So that guy, I was like, all right, that guy, Midnight, and who the fuck else was it? There was one other recognizable one.
I don't even know. That's bad. You can tell that's bad. Like, so he named 3 out of like what, the 12, 13 characters that were posted there. I was like, wait a minute.
And to be fair, sometimes I'm shitty at that. You're the same, right? Even though it's like one of your favorite manga.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, who the hell are these guys? Who the fuck are these? Like, bro, like, I swear to God, like, literally, I feel like Hirokoshi only killed off Midnight because we had no recognizable heroes to kill off. Like, Midnight, like, you said it yourself.
Midnight Neji. Midnight was the Neji, for sure. Neji'd the fuck out of it.
And you know what makes it worse, too? They off-screened her death.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
Like, they off-screened it, bro. Like, she had a fight, and I think, I have to check the Discord, but I think Luke and them said, like, her death, or I think it was on Twitter or whatever, but her death got off-screened, and the person that she fought was either captured or escaped. I have to look. Quote me on this if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. But if that's true, that's wild. So, let me go into more depth. And Red can talk about it from the beginning of the arc. But for me, as who's read the completely arc, let me talk about the reason why this arc sort of missed heavily. One of the biggest things that me and Red were talking about at the beginning of this arc, we thought it was going to be the Enies Lobby the Marineford version of
My Hero.
My Hero.
Well, they also like let's not fucking pretend like they didn't hype it up the fuck up. Like I remember it started with like on that day the heroes disappeared from the city. Remember that shit? Like
yeah.
Like I was expecting, and sure you could say, oh, you put too much expectations on it or whatever. But like this to me was gonna be the moment where the villains win, the heroes have to kind of go into hiding. We have like a time skip, and the whole tone of the series shifts basically. Like that's kind of what I wanted personally.
And what's crazy to me talking about that is like, why did the League of Villains lose?
Yeah, that's what I'm not able to comprehend. Like, I haven't read it, but like with the power that Shigaraki had, it just seems like they were setting it up like there's no way that they could possibly win against that. Like, how the fuck? Like, literally explain that to me. How the fuck did they lose?
Because they lost because they had like, because to me, like I don't mind when characters like come up and show up unexpectedly. So there's gonna be some spoilers here. Do you mind at all, or
you just whatever, man, just do it.
Okay, so basically what happened was they got help. Like Endeavor, Todoroki, like all of them got help, right? So while they were fighting Shigaraki, you could say like, oh well, they just ganged up on him and like held him down. But I mean, like to be honest with you, Deku like literally getting bopped until like Best Genius was good to be alive. He came back. Lemillion, he got his powers back because of Eerie, and he came back.
Heard about that, and
he came. Yeah. And then, like, basically from there, it was just like all these heroes that came out of nowhere and just decided to help somehow, even though like they were stuck with like the Nomus and like they were too busy helping people, and it's just weird. It felt like Hirokoshi was trying to write himself out of a debacle, because it's just like every time they end up losing, here comes a hero coming to save them. Every time they end up losing again, here comes another hero to come save them.
Oh, okay. So the writing didn't feel very like I don't know, like based in reality. It felt like he could just like write in a new person every time that there was danger.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, that's what it felt like, because like instead of them like, because there was good moments of the fights and them working together, but it felt like every time they were getting close, and someone would come and help him in a situation. It'd be like if Luffy was fighting Katakuri, right? And then all of a sudden Sanji came in, and then they were winning, and then Katakuri bought both of them, and then Frankie came in, right? And then like that's what it felt like. And then what made it even worse too is like they were like they had like mini monologues between like I really liked the mini monologues between like Deku like and Shigaraki, and then like All For One, and then All For One's brother came in and talked to them inside their heads. That was cool shit. But at the same time, it was just like it felt like it was dragging a bit, and then like every time they would get some action going, someone would come and save them. And then the main issue here is like the consequences and stakes were good, but they weren't like, I wouldn't say good, like they were lackluster, because the whole point of it was just like, oh, the heroes disappeared, but then like the biggest thing that saved the consequences was Dobby revealing the shit that Endeavor did to him. Like literally, like if it wasn't for that, the consequences would be kind of lackluster. Like, and I was arguing with one of our Discord server members, and I'm just like, literally, the consequences were low. Like every consequence he had could be countered, 100%. Because it's just like, yeah, the number one hero was found out to be do shitty shit, whatever. But then like, all of a sudden, like, because one of the things that Dobby was going to use against the heroes was they was found out that Hawks, because he had it on film that Hawks killed twice and Best Genius, right? So Dobby revealed that, but you know what counteracted that? Best Genius coming out of nowhere and saving them. And like, yeah, you could argue
it was foreshadowed that he wasn't really dead, right?
Yeah, we knew, but still, even then, like, still, you know, it was too convenient. You know what I mean? And then like we have like, I guess you can argue that them revealing that Hawks killing twice is a negative, but at the same time, in my head, I'm thinking like, well, will society really bat an eye at that, especially during like a war thing? Honestly,
Yeah.
like,
at least like you could argue with Marineford, like there were only 2 deaths, but they were 2 important deaths. You know what I mean? Like deaths that shook the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Whitebeard and Ace's death literally like changed the entirety of the world. Like, so imagine if Horikoshi only wanted to do 2 deaths. Like, you're telling me Endeavor didn't die?
Nope.
What the fuck? Like, it should have, like, imagine for a second. It, like, let's say you want, okay, the villains lose, whatever. But imagine if, I don't know how All Might would have gotten involved, but imagine if All Might and Endeavor died. Like, those were the 2 deaths. That would be huge. Like, the former best hero and the new top hero, like, that would be enough to, like, really shake society's confidence in the hero system, which is what Shigaraki wants. Yeah, now, explain to me, because there's no way Shigaraki's, like, done. There's no way this is the end of his story. So, like, what the hell? Where do they go from here? Did they catch him? Like, where's he? What's the situation with him?
Okay,
right now?
so basically, from the ending is that the League of Villains is split up, right? So Mr. Compressed, like even like the villain moments that were supposed to be good, I just felt meh. So basically, Mr. Compressed used his powers to send them away. So like a few of the League of Villains members are gone. Toga went missing. Like a few League of Villains, like Mr. Compressed is captured. A few League of Villains, Toga went missing. A few League of Villains people escaped. Like the association got captured. Like the apologists got captured, and then but the thing is though is that Shigaraki got taken over by a One for All, or All for One. So Shigaraki's basically, from what I gathered, from what this current chapter was telling us, Shigaraki's dead, and essentially, All for One took his body over, and basically now it's about to be like a jailbreak arc of like, possessed like Shigaraki trying to take it, because what All for One was saying, he's like, time to get my real body or some shit like that. So basically, what it was implied that Shigi's dead, and he's been dead that entire fight because he fully didn't get because them stopping him from getting 100%. Like it fully like stopped him, so he was dead already during the entire fight. Apparently, that's the way I read it.
Is that why his like face was ripping off or whatever?
Yes, apparently. And so like now like One for All completely possessed his body, and now it's just like he's gonna use the nobles to fucking take over the Hero Society, because now like the heroes are wounded apparently. So it's just like now Shigaraki is his chance to like attack while the getting's good, and then jailbreak out his body or whatever, which is fucking stupid. And then like, but my whole thing is, it's just like, how did the villains lose more than the heroes? Because the heroes only lost like what, 13 people, and then like the Hero Society wasn't even crumbled. The aftermath literally shows like them, saying like, oh, well, there's some people are talking about Endeavor, just like, I can't believe Endeavor was doing that, and like, how can he be a hero and do that? Like, he might have to like move to another country to escape this. And it's just like, but no talk about like, oh, the Hero Society will change or anything like that.
It's frustrating. It's hard to understand, because if we're looking at it from the bigger picture here, like, is it possible that Horikoshi is building this up to like a bigger climax later, and that's why it failed here. Like that's just it's just confusing. I don't really understand.
I
Like yeah.
I hope so because right now it's just nothing really changed. Like we lost like what irrelevant people. The villains are all scattered. Most of them are either missing or captured, and then now it's just like okay, like where do we really go from here? Like we're gonna get the Endeavor shit, but like most of the consequences that people are having up are like the only thing I can really think of, like no one from my gathering, no one was looking like they lost faith in Hero Society, judging by the arc. Like I'm gonna go look up the chapter because
All right.
literally from what I've seen, literally no one in the current chapter is looking like they're scared of the hero. Like everyone's going about their daily life. It's kind of like you see it's very very deep harsh like example, but like you see like a school shooting on the news, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people are just like, oh shit, that's unfortunate, but go about their day.
It wasn't like earth shattering. It was like
Yeah. Like it's just like I'm seeing it, and then like look at this shit, and then like all this shit, and then well dang, it's all, and look like someone's like well dang, it's all over, huh? That Dobby dude's it's like he's like people still hate Dobby, like the Dobby dude totally sucks. But what's gonna happen to Indy now? Do you think it's all true? Everything since day as number two had a feeling, shady something behind the scenes, blah blah blah. And it's his job to protect us, what's going on, blah blah blah. And then now it's just like everyone's expecting him to have a statement and blah 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 and everything like that. Like, and then now he's just like, "Do you think we're going to be okay?" And then one guy's just like, "Sure." I mean, think about it. We've got five weenies and those guys looking out for us. You know. So it's just like, okay, well, like I'm missing something here. Like they're all talking about like literally it doesn't seem like we were expecting like something bigger, but people are talking about Endeavor, but no one's talking about oh shit, what's gonna happen to the Hero Society? Like no one's losing faith. It looks like it's like another day and like another fucking day. You know what I mean? So it's just like all the consequences and stakes they're hyping up. It literally was like just like I said, just Endeavor. It's only going to affect Endeavor. Like no one's talking about the fact that Hawks killed twice. No one's talking about the fact like the kids. Well, some of their like kids were at the war. Like, okay, I guess
it's strange. Like I guess to me, even I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint what my problem is with this. I guess it's just like I think my main problem is like you could argue fine if you don't want to kill that many like big players right now. That's all right. Whatever. What I think my main problem is writing it and like trying to sell these like nothing deaths like they mean something. That's my main problem with it, right? Like fine if you want to only kill a handful of people right now because there's going to be some bigger thing later, fine, that's fine. But I don't like this fucking like oh my god, like Crust died, Native died, like come on man. You have to like it's like Kubo did the same thing when he was trying to like hype up how big of a deal the final invasion by the Quincy's were in the final arc. He was like, I don't know, like 10,000 soldiers died, but it was all like the nameless grunts. You know what I mean? 10,000 soldiers and like that one guy that he died too. Like it's just don't bullshit us. Like who cares? Like we don't care about these random grunts. You know how writing works. Work needs to be put in to make deaths mean something.
Like, because even then, like, because what gets me about this is like he tried to make it seem like these deaths were like important to the story. Like none of these deaths are like important to like. A good example I would say is I'm gonna compare it like Black Clover for example. Like in the arc, when Xenon was attacking the Golden Dawn, and then some of them died, but not all of them died, right? And then people are just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, he killed off irrelevant characters. There's no stakes, blah, 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 blah. The agent arc is that, whatever. And then one character we knew actually died. But the difference between this and that is that the Golden Dawn was never really, like, those members were never really hyped up. Like, those deaths were not hyped up to be important. They were important to because we know that he got closer to them overall. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that's his brigade. Like that's different. from a different aspect, it hurts more because someone came in, fucked up his captain and him, and killed off a bunch of people that he's grown to know over the 6 months that we haven't seen because a time skip.
You're saying it affect even if it was characters we didn't know very well, it affected characters we did know well.
Yeah, basically.
So like I don't know. I could see Midnight's death meaning something to a lot of the kids for sure, and that could like be a moment of growth for them. But like I don't know. And honestly, I don't know if Gran Torino is dead and stays dead. I feel like that could be good for Deku as well. So I'm not gonna diss too bad, but like it's just strange. I guess maybe I just misread what Horikoshi was going for because I thought this was gonna be the moment. Just the way it was hyped up, I was like, oh, surely Shigaraki's gonna win now. This is gonna be the moment where they win and the heroes have to mount like a comeback after they get crushed. Like it just seemed like that was obviously what was happening here. And I thought a lot of people were on the same page there, but I don't know. I don't know how much to blame Horikoshi because that's my expectations being wrong. I don't know. What do you think?
It's just like, because I mean, what I think it's just honestly, I don't think I like the writing of it. I felt like it wasn't even Horikoshi writing. Honestly, like a lot of stuff that Horikoshi would have done back then, he kind of did. Like having like all these people come and save them, like when it's like random, like, and then it's just like what gets me too is just the fact that people are saying like I said, there were definitely some good moments, like Bakugo, like getting like his redemption, trying to get his redemption for for Deku. Ooh, I don't know. I think of a name. Like that was good. like, and people were pissed about that. Like people were upset that Bakugo was actually thinking like, oh shit, I want to give you den for bullying him. Like people were mad about that. If people were mad about that, then how are you not mad at the fact that the pacing was bad? Like low key, it felt like plot armor was happening. Like
dude.
Because the deaths weren't even necessarily like a problem. It's just like don't give us a death if it's not important. Like that's why people need to understand. Like deaths for deaths mean nothing. Like a death needs to be meaningful. That's why people shit on Neji's death so much. Like that death wasn't meaningful. It was just there to make Hinata look better in Naruto's eyes. Like he had no reason to fucking die there, but he died just to better Hinata and Naruto's relationship, which is fucking retarded.
He died so that Naruto could get his dick wet.
Yeah, and then it's just like it felt like the writing was off. Like
you can tell when an author, instead of like I don't know, a death being like planned to really affect the story, it feels like they know they need a death, so then they pick someone out of a hat. You know what I mean? You can definitely tell the difference. Like let's talk Kite from Hunter x Hunter. That motherfucker's death impacted the entirety of that arc. You know what I mean? Like that was clearly meant to like drive Gon's entire character. His death is felt throughout that entire arc, and his death is ultimately the reason why Gon is no longer the main character and doesn't even have Nen anymore. His death is the reason Pitu's dead. His death is so many things came from his death. Ace's death, Whitebeard's death, yada yada yada. But like then there are some like these where like we'll see if they really mean anything down the road other than some mopey sad dialogue. But it just doesn't feel like it was like planned. And I think again the most insulting thing is that page where it's like we lost so many people, and it's like it's the same thing with Promised Neverland. It's like random background extras that we don't give a fuck about, and then when you kill one of these random background extras we don't give a fuck about, it still doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and then what made it even worse too is like you have these you made it like you hyped it up. Like my Black Clover example was just like it meant we see the effect it had on our important characters, but like what really effect does it really have on like what is like besides like Midnight, and like what effect does Native have on like Deku, or you know what I mean? Like they didn't do anything enough to warrant like an interaction for the characters themselves. The only one that makes sense was Midnight,
Did you see that fucking tweet? I think maybe even you liked it. It was what was this motherfucker's power anyway? Cultural appropriation.
Because I mean, the whole point of it, because I was happy that Shigaraki was winning, because it was just like, why did the League of Villains because the whole arc was just like, oh, they're winning for now, but it's too easy. It literally felt like it was too easy. Like the only issue they were having was damage control and like putting Gigantomania asleep. But it legitimately, it felt like it was way too easy.
I remember you saying that when we were reviewing it too. You were like, "All right, where's the hero deaths? Where's the hero? Like, where are they? This is feeling way too easy." And
Like it really did feel easy. Like when Shigaraki came back, it was supposed to be. Even when Shigaraki was there, it felt like it was there on easy mode, like normal. You know what I mean?
Like
Like
fighting one of those big giant like Shadow of the Colossus bosses, but like on super
yeah,
easy,
like
where it looks like it should be way harder than it is. Yeah.
yeah, because I wouldn't even have the big issue, but the My Hero fans making it seem like this is the GOAT arc.
Carrying Jump
This is
single-handedly.
this and Hirokoshi is doing it way different from every other manga right now. Like, no, he is not. This is something you would see in One Piece, except it's done way better. Like, I don't understand. Like, where you guys are getting this? You can like what you like. I'm not gonna knock you for that. But to sit here and claim like this arc is carrying Jump, how? It's not even carrying its own fucking series. There are way better arcs in this in the series, 100%.
Here's the thing:
Criminal
every generation is gonna have DBZ tards. This is the new DBZ tards, my man. Like it's the DBZ of the new generation. It's just a low tier anime. It's fine, but like it's low mid tier at best. Like it's got some good action. It's got some good characters. But overall, like it's really, really simple. It's not. I don't know. Maybe we expected too much from it.
Because what gets me is the fact that I had a point too. Was like the whole arc was like, okay, easy, and shit like that, and then like. Even if you argue, but of course it was easy. They had Hawks give them all the information. Yeah, that's true, but at the same time, it's just like they lost all the people because because what gets me is like there were good moments, but like the good moments were overshadowed by the bad ones. Like the League of Villains had the moment, like Mr. Compressed. Like you would like the Mr. Compressed shit. That shit was good. Like the Bakugo shit was good. The Dobby shit was good. Like the League of Villains were stealing the show the entire time in the arc.
God, remember that villain v villain arc? That shit was so good.
Yeah, and then like the villains had good shit in the arc. Like Twice shit was fucking amazing and shit. And then, like they like Uraka and fucking what's this bitch name? Toga had a good moment. Had like a little 1v1 like moral to moral talk. That was pretty good. But then like people was like, that's too boring. Get back to the action. Like, okay, and then it was just there was like what else? And then there was a lot of good moments. I think one good moment I'll say I like in this chapter, that was actually really good that me and you will be probably talking about for hours if we're still reviewing it, is during when at the aftermath and there's trying to save people and Uraraka's like doing cleanup and like she's seeing like people like after an earthquake, right? And like she's helping people, like rocks are falling down, she's helping kids, like this guy's like, my wife's inside, help her, blah 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 blah. And then like we cut to like the fade, I can see this in the anime, there's like a backdrop of them, like people are saying like, careful, it's gonna collapse, help, like don't just stand there, I need help, heroes, water, blah blah blah. And then like there's a moment where a hero's just like, I can't take anymore, this is too much. And then we see a backdrop of like Uraka looking at like all the wreckage and then seeing like kids like, mommy, people are like, where are you, son, blah blah blah. And then Uraka has like this like little like blank face moment and the hero's just like, I need a new line of work. That shit was good. That moment was fucking amazing. Like I was like, wow, Hirokoshi, that shit's good. Like I can see that shit. Like,
yeah. So like I think for me, what it comes down to with My Hero is that what I like about My Hero is like a side attraction to Horikoshi. What I like is the politics of the world, like just the world drama overall, the idea of like holding society together by a thin veil before it collapses. That was what kept me going. I was like, oh my god, Deku has to become this strong before, so he's like this like symbol of peace before peace collapses. That fucking got me excited. And like I think the best thing Horikoshi writes is a society of powers and how that can fuck with people mentally. So like that's why the villain arc was fucking amazing. Toga's flashback was fucking amazing. And why my favorite arc in the series to this day is Gentle Criminal, because that guy got a raw ass deal in life. And like oh my god, like that's what I love about this story, is like the world and the world politics and how heroes and powers shape that. And when it strays away from that and it's just kind of focused on My Hero's, let's be honest, pretty subpar action. It's not good action. It's very meh. Like it's okay. The art's great, but like
bad. There's way better. Like I'm gonna be honest. I know we hyped up the fights a little bit, but if I'm being honest, like it's okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if you really thinking about it, like if we compare it to
I
like
think the art carries it a lot of times.
yeah, like I think if we compare it to like everyone else's like series, like One Piece or Jujutsu Kaisen, like the fight choreography is just not as good as we thought it was. Hey, it's funny too because Nux Taku was the first one to actually say that too.
Mm.
He's a hipster because he actually said that. Like, didn't he say like the fights in My Hero are actually not that good? I think he meant.
It might have been him or Mother's Basement. I don't remember. Nux's whole thing was being the first brave soul to talk about how Deku's a very boring character.
Let me see.
Deku started to lose me when he stopped like being a nerd as much and started just being like the sad part with Deku is he's one of those characters that inherently once he starts like evolving more and developing more, I'm
Oh,
going to like
it
him
was
less.
it was Giga who did that.
Very
Giga.
much like Ruby actually. Deku went down the same path as Ruby Rose from RWBY. They started off as like shy, insecure, nerdy types and are now like way too fucking confident and boring.
It was Giga who did it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Giguk? Yeah. My hero fights aren't actually that good. It's
Yeah, he's like he said My Hero Academia fights are actually dull. 2 years ago.
yeah, for real.
So
So I mean, at the end of the day, my hero survived on its characters, and when it started to kind of go down this Promised Neverland route, where when over half of the characters on screen are like characters I don't know or aren't connected to, you run into a problem. This is what happened in the Naruto Final War. Like I remember reading the manga of Naruto to like finally finish it because I had to drop the anime because it was so fillery. And even in the manga, the Final War, he focused on fights for these characters that like I did not give a fuck about. Like that dude that sucked on a sucker and had like laser jutsus and like so many characters I just didn't give a shit about, and I was like, oh my god, like there was a guy that had like a rubber jutsu, like so much shit. I was like, I don't care. Like I'm sorry, like it has to be people you care about, and like I know that differs from person to person, but like there are ways to get around that. I don't know.
and yeah, honestly,
Like
like
Doctor Stone Doctor Stone's a great example. Doctor Stone is a huge cast, and every single one. There's not a moment in Doctor Stone where I'm like, who's this guy? Like almost always, even if it's like a minor guy, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this guy. You know what I mean? Or, this guy has something to like about him. You know?
yeah, like honestly, like we always I think we always praise that Hirokoshi did good with large cast of characters, but I think it's finally catching up with them because
I
even
do
One Piece,
too. I think he's added way too many.
yeah, like even One Piece had a lot of fucking characters, but like the thing is though, like the thing you remember like chapter like episode like 20 characters, like Hirokoshi drew that chapter 20 character, you recognize that motherfucker, bro. Like Wanze and like, but like he makes them memorable, like he gives them features that makes them memorable, like.
Yeah. Even the random background, like fucking like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like who's like a background? Okay, remember that guy from Water 7? I think his name was Paulie. He had like he used the rope techniques. I don't remember if it was a devil fruit or not, but like he would like fought with rope, and he was like really embarrassed about like sexual shit. Like when Nami would change in front of him, he was like, "You indecent."
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, that's a random guy who had very little screen time comparatively to the whole series, and I know him. I know his name. I know his how he fights. I know what he's all about. I know his life story. He worked at the Galila company. He was friends with Lucci and the rest of those motherfuckers. He was really betrayed when it turned out that they were actually working for the government. Yada yada yada.
Oh hell yeah, bro! Like that shit is good writing, bro. And it's just like you have all these other series who do it way better, and it's just like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. You can like what you like. This is just our opinion on it, but it's just My Hero clearly just dropped the ball. Honestly, this arc, like I don't think the arc is necessarily bad. It was just, and you read is right. It could be our fault as fans for thinking too much of it. But to be honest with you, Hirokoshi was, he was that good a writer to where we kind of hyped him up a bit. But now we have to realize that, oh shit, even he has his limits. I'm pretty sure the fans are gonna be mad at us about that. But it's just like this arc, this arc was just all over the place, man. It was just like the fights were okay, but it's just like, why did Shigi lose when he wasn't supposed to? Like, why is all One for All taking over his body now? Like,
I think now is the time for him he has to go back to basics. Like, you remember we talked about escalating and de-escalating? It's
Yeah.
time to de-escalate. It's time to have I would love a nice long arc of. I don't know. I mean, how, like you said, the world isn't that fucked. So could they theoretically go back to school for a while now?
No, because now, well, depending on how you want to do it, basically at the end of the arc, in the chapter, One for All is saying, "I'm not going to give him any time to rest. He's going to try to free his real body now." So,
okay, well, maybe that'll be. But like that kind of shit, because I hope Shiggy comes back, because like I think Shigaraki is significantly more interesting than One for All as a character.
yeah, 100%.
So like, but I feel like there's no way Horikoshi's that bad of a writer. Like I feel like I feel like what's gonna happen is, because the last thing I remember from reading it was I remember my One for All kind of trying to like speak to him, and he was like, "Shut the fuck up," remember?
Yeah.
So like I'm hoping that we could have a moment where he tries to take over his body, and then Shigaraki is like, "Ha, got him," and then he like takes over the body fully with all the new power.
I hope so, because the way they implied it, it was just like, oh, he died, and then like then it showed like, oh, even if he died, like he brought like we lost so many lives and shit like that and everything. So like, it's honestly hard to really say. I think it could have been way better. I think compared to its competition, it was very, very lackluster. It was just so like mediocre to me. Like this is definitely to like a mid.
Yeah.
Like a very, very mid arc, 100%.
My Hero to me is gonna go down as a Bleach Naruto type. You know, like it's good. It's got a good premise. It's got good characters. It's a nice shonen, but like it's not going. There was a moment there where I thought, when I first started reading it, that it could maybe eke into the territory of like the One Piece Hunter x Hunter range, but I think it's going to be more towards your average shonens, which is fine. But like I do think that we maybe have overhyped him a little bit. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, like, let us know in the comments what you think. I'm pretty sure we're gonna, people are gonna get our ass for this, but I don't give a shit. That's what we did this for. I just really think it's. You can hype it up whatever you want. I'm not gonna tell you not to be excited, what to be excited for, not to be excited. What we'll let you know.
Yeah, if you fucking loved it, more power to you. Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
like we're glad that you loved it. Like, enjoy things like that. That's great.
Yeah, like we know we slander jokingly though, because we don't because I hate slander as much, but I've grown from just being like a slandering troll. Like, yeah, it's fun from time to time, fucking with like My Hero and Naruto. I did that a couple of weeks ago, but it's just like, at the same time, don't be a dick and always rag on shit people enjoy. But we're just kind of give our little opinion on it, because it's really just not good. Like, it was supposed to be hyped up to be really well, and it just kind of dropped the ball, in my opinion. Like,
yep, this is all just because we personally were disappointed in it, and there was like I said, peak My Hero for me. I really loved the fucking gentle criminal stuff, and I really, really loved the villain arc. And I remember in between that was the A class versus B class, and that arc I remember I liked, but I was like, it was quite slow if I remember correctly.
That was awful. I can't believe we reviewed that shit weekly.
I know, we fucking did it, bro. We goddamn did it.
That's why.
We powered through. We muscled through right there.
And so it's just because it's at a point now to where I'm happy the arc is over. So
maybe we'll bring it back. Maybe the reviews will come back if this arc starts getting fire. You let me know, Thurman.
Yeah, because I think a definitely de-escalation is necessary, because now we just have to see I think what's important is to see the aftermath. I will admit that judging it based off of the one aftermath chapter is not fair. So I just want to see how he's gonna handle the Endeavor shit and all the consequences that will have to. Because from my understanding, there's about maybe like 3 consequences that can't be counted right now, and most of them don't really affect the hero society. Like, because from what I've gathered, people's faith in the hero society hasn't really changed much. Like I said, which is one thing a certain person was arguing with me about, and I'm just like, haha, I think I'll take my W until I take my L. It's just now no one gives a shit. The only thing they really gave a shit about was Endeavor, but everything else they're like, oh, it's over now, huh? Oh well, back to eating pizza. type of shit. You know, like
Mm.
nothing, no one's worried about. Cause especially since like a few villains escaped, but the majority of the league of like villains was captured. Like the Liberation Army was captured. Like majority of like
Yeah.
Shiki's forces were captured.
That just seems crazy
So,
because you had so much set up there, and what a waste of set. Now you're gonna have to reset it all up if you ever want it to be even close to as big, or whatever you're doing
yeah,
next. Yeah.
that's the thing. He had a whole army set up, and yet not all of them are captured and gone. Now it's just Shiki and a few Nomus. Well, one for all in Shiki's body, and like a few powerful high end Nomus. That's about it. And
It's
everyone,
dumb.
all of his support, all of his like most of his followers, because like some of the League of Villains are in hiding. Like Toga, it said Toga's missing. Mr. Compress was captured. Like most of like the apologists from like the hero and who are in the heroes were captured. Like you see like the little guy who was like skeeting, who was just like jealous of like Hawks for being like above, like talking above him, even though he was below him. He was captured. You see him. Like a lot of the like manpower and firepower that Shiggy had that was set up is gone now. So
Yeah.
it's just like, where do we go from here from that? Like you set all that up, and right, it's low key kind of a waste. Like,
That's the weird thing. That it just seemed like to me this and ending this off because we're at 40 minutes now and I need to go to sleep. It seemed like everything just pointed to this being the moment where the heroes got defeated because all the stars were aligning. You know what I mean? So it's strange. I don't know. We'll have to see. This could all be fucking erased depending on how it's like the final arc ends up getting handled or where he goes from here. Maybe it's amazing. We'll have to see. But like. We know that Horikoshi has gone on record saying that like he's not planning like his series isn't going to be like crazy long. Like it's not like with the Black Clover author who's like wants to do some crazy long shit. Like Horikoshi I thought said he was like under 500 chapters type shit.
yeah, I think he said it's like 65% complete or something like that. No. In an interview, he said it was almost done. He was like on the climax.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. But that is peace for me. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's a piece. I think since we haven't reviewed it, I'm gonna give this chapter a rating. It's a 3.
Ooh, out of 10? Goddamn.
Yeah, that's definitely a 3.
Maybe one day the reviews will come back if it ever gets
You know
fired.
what?
Honestly, around the time All Might like finally fucking dies, and if he doesn't die, by the way, series is trash. I don't care what anyone says.
I think I'm gonna change my rating just because that one scene I was telling you about, the hero saying I need to find a new profession. I think it's a 5. That was actually a really good scene.
All right.
I actually want you to read the chapter so you can see that.
Yeah, I'll have to catch up eventually. Maybe after I catch up with JJK. But anyway, that's peace for
the
me.
better series. Peace.
Peace.